Welcome back. So this is the third part of the 3 videos, which is the last one. I'll be talking about the code, what is inside the code, what I did, the flow, the configuration, all that. So with that being said, let me share my screen and then we can start from there. All right. So as I say, this is a web application using a Spring MVC. First thing I want to show you, it's the POM configuration, because this is Maven. We are using Maven as a build tool. Maven come with this file called POM XML. This is where we put all the dependencies we need that we'll be needing this project. Here we need to use MySQL as database, so we have to put these dependencies of MySQL here. And if we were using Oracle, we put these dependencies. Yeah, so we can put the version, all those things that we need, because if we are using something from MySQL or Oracle, we need to bring those dependencies here in POM XML file. The other configuration I want to talk about is application properties. It's where we configure our database connection. Again, as we're using MySQL, the driver class name is JDBC driver, MySQL JDBC driver. And this is where our database is. It's in local, which is my laptop. And then where the port will be listening to MySQL, listen always, not always, but most of the time on 3306 port. This is the database name. So we can try to see in the database. Let me open the database so we can see that's database name. I'll be using the MySQL bench. Here we go. So this is the connection. Here you see they're asking me to log in, and this is MySQL and localhost. This is the address of localhost. Again, this is the port as we saw in the code, 3306. And then I have to put my password in order to connect to the database. So if you come here to schema, you see the name of the database. It's loan management. This is here we will have. Here I have to put the username and password that they asked me here. I couldn't put it here because I'm sharing my screen. But when I'm going to run this application, then I will have to put it back so I can be able to connect to the database. So this is where we configure the database. If we are using MySQL, it's different configuration. If you are using Oracle, it's different configuration. But I just put comment here because as today we're using MySQL. When I did this application 5 years ago, I was using Oracle, but today we'll be using MySQL. So when you put hashtag in this application property file, it's seen as a comment, so the application will not pay attention to these lines of code. All right, so that being said, Hibernate also, and then the direct. If we were using Oracle, this is the direct we have to use, but because we're using MySQL, this is the direct. So if it was another database, it would be different. So it depends on which database you are using. And here also you can change the server port. If we're using like 9090, we could put here 9090, and instead of running localhost 8181, then it will be 9090. But this is again because there's a hashtag, it's considered as a comment. All right, so with that being said, let's see the MVC architecture. Okay, MVC architecture, we say it comes to controller, model, and then view. For us, the view will be in this specific package or folder called web apps, and the views will be specifically here in this folder. So as I explained in the first video where I was talking about the theory, when the user sends the request, the controller intercepts that request and then see which model, if that request needs data from the database, so the controller will see which model we treat that request, or we go to talk to the database. So let's take a simple example. Let's say we want a list of all the banks we have here. The bank controller will be here. So this is the first link that we come after the landing tree one, the context path that we saw already here. After the localhost, which the address of our TomCat address, which is local, and then we put the port number, which is 8181, then slash landing tree is the context path. After that, whatever request we are sending, then it will be bank, and then we want the list of the bank, then we will get that list. If we do slash bank slash list, we get that bank. So here we have to create the view, and the view name will be bank list. And if we come to our views here, you will see the name of that view is bank list JSP. As I said, we are using JSP because it's Java server pages where we can put Java's code inside HTML pages. All right, so let's take this example. The user send a request, say I want this user will be the admin, because it's the admin that can be able to see the list of the bank. The admin sends a request saying I need a list of the bank. The request will come here and then see the bank and then the list. And then we create this bank list view, but we don't use it yet. We have to go to the database. We have to call what is called service. And this service in underline, this is interface, but really we will be calling here, we will be calling the get all bank. We can see in the service, bank service implementation, get all bank. Here we'll be using DAO, this is French, DAO. So as I said again in the first video, which was the theory part, that's where you have to go. It's data access object. So those are the objects in Java that will be accessing data in our database. So if we have this DAO, excuse me, DAO, and then we see the DAO implementation, we have to create a session factory that will help us to get connection to the database. And then when we call this method get all banks, we're going to call all the list of the bank from the bank database. So we have to come, if you come to the database and then you see tables, you have to see the table is called bank. So we are calling that bank here. But MySql, it's not, it doesn't see if it's capital letter, it's uppercase. It doesn't see if it's uppercase or lowercase. It doesn't matter. You can write bank in capital. It doesn't matter in MySql language. You can use, whatever. That's why here you can see, we use B in capital letter here, but you can see it's a bank. Even if here we are using bank capital letter, everything, it doesn't matter because SQL doesn't look those details, but Java does. All right. So when we get the information here, this method get all bank, we come here in DAO, we get the list, and then we call DAO in our service. If we come to the service implementation, here we get this list, and then in controller we call this service, we get all the bank. Once we get the bank, we put those information in our list that we just created. We say, hey, this list that we get, this bank list we just get from the database, I want you to put that list here in this model. The model, here it's model and view. So we are combining the model and the view together. We are getting the data from the database and then put in the view that give us the model and view, and then we put it here. And then if we you see this bank list here, that's the one that we are going to send. So this is the bank list. This is what we get from the database, but this is the name that we are going to send in our view, saying, hey, we get this information from the database. I want you to display this to our user. So if you come here and then search, this is the item. It will come as a list of bank. So we are going to go through this list for each. So we are going to get all the bank. So for each bank, I want you to display the bank ID, name, branch address, and then we want to put this button also, which will be edit, and then edit, and then it will be update, and then it will be the delete one here also, this button that can be deleted. So once we click on update button, we will go to this URL, which will be edit, and then we will edit this bank ID behind the scene. All right, so this is how it will be working. I'm going to take this from here and then put my configuration to access my database. I'm going to put my username and then the password. Okay, and then run. Okay, now I can bring it back here. So here they say your application, it is running on this server, and then this server is TomCat. It's called Smart TomCat. Then you can access your application here. As we saw, this is the context URL. As if you click here, and then we come to our URL, you see this is our localhost, which is our local server, the address of our local server, which is TomCat. Then the port, it's 8181. The context path, which is the first path we see, it's landing tree. Let's log in as admin because it's the admin that can access the bank. Okay, so here, let's go here and then click on bank. As we said, it will come to bank and then list. We can go back here to show it. In controller, it will be first, it will be bank and then list. After it will show us the list of bank. And then as we said in the view, we want you to show us, let's go to the view. We want you to show us the bank ID, name, branch, address, and then show us all those things. But here, this is the head of everything. So we say ID, name, branch, address, update, delete. This is how it will come. ID, name, branch, address, update, and then it will list all the bank here, update, delete. If we click edit, then we can edit here. All right, so that was the code that I want to show you. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. And I will come to show you other application I made next time. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.